No, started. Okay. Anyway. Another video here. This is Hellfudge, of course. I'm gonna add a little bit more in this one. Come at me, bitch. Anyway, just out here in the living room. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Okay, I'm off over here, I guess. Alright. George R.R. Martin's Dying of the Light. Really good sci-fi. You should read it. I don't think anybody read it before Game of Thrones came out. That's probably the truth. I don't know. Probably a sad truth that nobody really knew who he was before Game of Thrones came out on HBO. A few of us did, but yeah, Game of Thrones was the first one I ever read. I haven't even read Fever Dream by Martin yet, and that one just sounds cool. Vampires. The good ones, not the stupid faggy Twilight bullshit ones. I know I did a video on Forgotten Realms stuff that I had, but found this. Cult of the Dragon. It's a really good one. Really good. It's not in the best condition, but I got it used a long time ago. So, I'm just going to put it up here. For Father's Day, my wife got me this book, The Demon Awakens, by R.A. Salvatore. And I haven't read much of it. I haven't really had time. I've been reading other stuff. But the cool thing is, it's not personalized to me. It's personalized to someone else because she bought it on a website. But it's signed, which this brings the total amount of stuff I have signed by Salvatore up to 2. An adventure that takes place in Icewind Dale, and that one. The cool thing is the fucking Barnes & Noble in Glendale has a bunch of his stuff signed, but it's stuff I already own, so like I can't justify rebuying it just for a signature of an author who writes genre fiction. Anyway, Stephen King was one of the first authors I ever read, other than Terry Brooks. In fact, I think I read a Stephen King novel before I read a Terry Brooks novel. So, been trying to read the Dark Tower series when I can. I've read the first 4, I think, but mostly not very recently. I think the last time I read one was when I was working in Maine at the when I took care of 2 adults with developmental disabilities. Good job. Paid shit. Which, whatever. You're taking care of people, but let's not pay our employees to do it. Honestly, it could have been a volunteer job for all the shit you have to deal with, but for Maine, it wasn't that bad. It was $9 an hour, which is more than most of the shit up there, which is the reason that people are leaving that state in droves. Man. In a state where $9 an hour is a fucking fortune. I'm making a lot more right now just to sit and answer the phone. A lot more. Yeah, I don't get it either. I'm doing less work, less arduous tasks. I don't really have anybody to be responsible for. If someone gets hurt, it's not my problem. Okay. I'm going to talk to you guys about something, but I don't really remember what it was. I got sidetracked with that. Stephen King, yes. The Gunslinger, fantastic book. But let's talk about one of his least fantastic books. And of course, by that, I mean Cell. The one with the cell phone zombies. Good concept. Was it executed correctly, or as good as it could have been? No. I liked it. I read it. Took me a little bit of time to read it. About maybe a day and a half. But I felt it could have been better, especially the ending. It kind of had that Pet Sematary type ending where you don't know if the protagonist lives or dies at the end. Did the kid go crazy, and was the software readjust? I don't fucking read it. Even though I have to put it down at the bottom in Stephen King books, it's still worth reading. Here it is. Okay. We open it up. And there's a little Scribner thingy. Stephen King. Say. For Richard Matheson and George Romero. You know who George Romero is. The id will not stand for a delay in gratification. It always feels the tension of the unfulfilled urge. Sigmund Freud. Human aggression is instinctual. Humans have not evolved any ritualized aggression-inhibiting mechanisms to ensure the survival of the species. For this reason, man is considered a very dangerous animal. Conrad Lorenz. Can you hear me now? Verizon. Title page. Civilization slipped into its second dark age on an unsurprising track of blood, but with a speed that would have not been foreseen by even the most pessimistic futurist. It was as if it had been waiting to go. On October 1st, God, what is in his heaven, the stock market stood at 10,140, I don't know stock market shit. And most of the planes were on time, except for those landing and taking off Chicago, and that was to be expected. Planes of the apes laugh. I don't know. 2 weeks later, the skies belonged to the birds again, and the stock market was a memory. By Halloween, every major city from New York to Moscow stank to the empty heavens, and the world as it had been was a memory. We're all missing start. I mean, it starts off very promising. Boston gets blown up. Too soon. But not by two Chechenian bombers. No. It gets blown up by people driven crazy by cell phones. Which, you know, it's cool. Especially when it started getting into the phoners and everything, it would have been much cooler if it wasn't supernatural in origin, if it had just been like a terrorist attack. Gone out of control. It spreads like a computer virus. It doesn't even make sense. But whatever, Stephen King's old. I would read it just because it does tie a little bit into the Dark Tower series, much like all of his other stuff. It's just another spoke on the wheel. So, like all of this stuff, like everything's part of the Dark Tower, which is in the middle, and Ka is a wheel.